Nikki Haley did not do particularly well. The last stream we were looking at the New Hampshire election results. I'm saying it deliberately, yes. One person in chat knows why. And let's have a quick look over at that now. Let's get this story and go back to this. This is essentially the result. It's 97% counted. Trump, 54.3%. Nikki Haley, 43.3%. Trump being 11 points up, almost exactly. Which is quite a lot. What I had read about this is that this also is record-breaking. Just like in Iowa, where he more than doubled the record. This is apparently the most votes any GOP candidate has ever had in the New Hampshire primary. So Trump so far has not only won 2 states, he has broken a national record in those victories in 2 states, of 2 so far. So he's doing quite well so far. He's doing pretty well so far.
He's doing so well that they're going to have to again.
Yeah, I think they already realized that, yeah. But they certainly do now. Nikki Haley might be further back on that realization than the Democrats are, to be honest. I think if
he plays nice, he could be Secretary of State or something.
I don't think he'd want to. I don't think he'd want to. She was ambassador to the UN in 2016, in his 2016 presidency, and he now describes her as pretty incompetent. Get that warhawk out, says Alpaca. Yeah. Not any GOP candidate in NH, any candidate in NH. Okay, that's even better, Nighthawk. I didn't know that. Let's see if I can find that thing about. Okay, was this the one? Well, this has a bunch of. Let's just look through the numbers first on the win, since we're on that topic. Trump ran up the score with these voters in New Hampshire primary win. Fox News voter analysis reveals 6 in 10 voters decided more than a month ago that who they were voting for in the New Hampshire GOP primary. Now, chat, there's many statistics in here. They're not that revealing, but there is one statistic that I really want to show you. I think you're all going to enjoy this. Ready?
Nice.
Thank you. This is the third time in about 2 weeks that we've seen a significant statistic relating to Trump where he's got 69%. I don't make the rules. Meme magic does. This is New Hampshire Republicans who decided their vote more than a month ago. 69% of Trump voters did. And 26% of Haley voters did. That doesn't say a lot about the situation. You could argue this is either looks good or looks bad on the candidate. Probably overall looks good, but it's not huge. And this article had a lot of other statistics like that. But when it says 87% of MAGA supporters voted for Trump, what the hell were the other 13% doing then? I just got to wonder. I don't know if these stats are particularly reliable. But hey. Some more. It's a bit more data here. Was there something else on this? Was that and then yeah? So people who want total change in how the US is run, Trump voters, 82% of them said that, and of Haley voters, 13% of them said that. So that gives you an idea of what the candidate's likely to do. Nothing in Haley's case, or less than nothing, worse than nothing. And this is also it's hard to. No. So this is a weird one. 74% say it's very important that their nominee can win a general election, and 25% said that it's less important, which that doesn't really make any sense. But 6 in 10 of these voters, I think of the 74%, 6 in 10 of those were Trump voters. So there's a couple of interesting things in these numbers. Trump breaks record for most votes ever received in New Hampshire GOP primary, and as someone in the chat said, it might have been any primary. So yeah, there's that. RNC chair Ronna McDaniel urges Nikki Haley to drop out of the race. Looking at the maths, she says, and the path going forward, I don't see it for Nikki Haley. It wasn't there after the first state, to be honest. Following President Donald Trump's decisive victory in the New Hampshire GOP primary Tuesday night, embattled Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel urged Nikki Haley to drop out the race. In an interview on Fox News, McDaniel said, looking at the maths and the path going forward, I don't see it for Nikki Haley. There's actually a video. I wish I'd known there was a video. Then again, maybe I don't want to hear her talking. She's run a great campaign, McDaniel continued. I'm not sure about that. Do think there's a message that's coming out from the voters, which is very clear. We need to unite around our eventual nominee, which is going to be Donald Trump, and we need to make sure to beat Joe Biden, she says. So, there is still the suspicion, unfortunately, that what they're going to do is get Trump and Haley. Doesn't matter how many Trump wins, but then at some point they will delete Trump, one way or the other. Prison or assassination. And then the GOP will either be forced to or choose to not support him as their candidate, and they'll have to pick the next highest, which will be Nikki. And Nikki will be easy for the Democrats to beat. I know, Soldner, I know prison is not a disqualifying factor. We've covered this many times. But as I said last time, the GOP may decide, now I don't think they will, but the Democrats probably hope they will, may decide that they can't run Trump given he's in prison, if he is. That's probably what the Democrats are hoping for. Now, I suspect the GOP would actually support Trump doing that. And I've seen enough to think that a really significant portion of the GOP support, and actually a fair amount of the infrastructure now, is pro-Trump. They might, in fact, just circle around him and propose him regardless. If he becomes president in prison, I'm sure there's something that can be done to resolve that. I don't think that's ever happened before in the US, though, so it might be pretty unprecedented. Dai says, I still think people are just lazy and wouldn't do much even if they kill Trump. You never know. It's the kind of thing that could just start all at once. It's the kind of thing where people will be polite and reasonable and try to do it properly, right up until the point they realize that it's not possible on a large scale, and then just switch strategy immediately. I think the message that we should take is how terrified the establishment and the Democrats seem to be of that eventuality, because they are clearly edging as close as they can get to it, well, like the minimum amount forward in terms of tyranny, to prevent it from happening too fast. They're scared of something. They're scared of their opponents doing something. Partly, I think they're scared of a lot of their own pawns figuring it out. Like if all the tyrannical things they tried to implement for the last 10 years had happened in the space of 1 year, it would have been too much, and people would have got whiplash and realized what was happening and tried to stop it. But doing it over the course of 10 years is slow enough that it works, slow enough that they can actually get it done. It may be that that's the thing they're avoiding.
The people have a breaking point, and I think the more pushback that these tyrants try to enforce on the people, the more and more they are getting primed to, light that fuse. So if something drastic happens, it'll set everything off.
Mm. Alex Soros says a Trump win is a done deal for the Davos elite, but they're always wrong. I'm not sure what he means by that. I'm not sure what the title means by that. In Davos, Donald Trump is already the president. Open Society Foundation's chairman Alex Soros told a panel at the World Economic Forum on Friday. That's a good thing because the Davos consensus is always wrong, he said. Interesting. The prospect of Trump, who is the frontrunner to gain the Republican nomination in the upcoming election, winning a second term in the White House has been a hot topic in the gathering of political and business leaders in Switzerland this week. Trump faces 91 felony counts across numerous criminal cases, blah, blah, blah. Many US executives still believe he will beat President Joe Biden should the two face off in the 2024 race as anticipated. Trump owns the Republican Party. We're in something I like to call the Trump cycle, because I think even if, and this is Alex Soros saying this, even if, and I believe that the institutions hold, when he loses this election, he says, he'll also be the Republican candidate in 2028 and maybe even 2032 as well, Soros said, drawing a ripple of laughter from attendees. I'm not sure it'll go on that long. He says, if the institutions hold, we know we know that what that's actually referring to, whether Alex Soros even knows it or not. Most polling in recent months has put Trump ahead of Biden across key swing states, though numbers published last week by Redfield and Wilton Strategies in partnership with The Telegraph showed those leads narrowing in Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. If that is about Trump, that's very cryptic. It's very indirect. I'm not sure that is about Trump. George Soros' son says Trump won't disappear unless he winds up in prison. I mean, even then, I don't assume he will even then. how Yahoo News is calling Soros a philanthropist. He says there's really no getting rid of Trump. We'll go away unless he winds up behind bars. So you could argue that this is him saying it should happen, and he almost said he wants it to happen as well.